We had some technical difficulties. My fellow Kentuckians, neighbors, friends, and patriots of House District 63, good evening. As I stand before you tonight in the heart of northern Kentucky, where the Ohio River whispers the memory of resilient forebears, I am reminded of the unyielding spirit that built this great Commonwealth. From the rolling hills of Boone County to the bustling streets of Kenton and Campbell, from the quiet farms along the Licking River to the vibrant communities of Villa Hills, Fort Mitchell, and Ludlow Brumley, we are bound not merely by geography, but by a shared destiny. A destiny that demands conviction, unity of purpose, and a vision worthy of the generations who will inherit what we leave behind. Therefore, let me begin with words that once stirred the soul of a nation. Let the word go forth from this time and place to friend and foe alike that the torch has been passed to a new generation of Americans. President John F. Kennedy spoke those words more than 60 years ago at a moment of national trial, a moment when resolve mattered more than rhetoric, and when courage was required over comfort. Today, here in Northern Kentucky, we face our own trials. They demand not retreat, but resolve, not division, but unity, not complacency, but fiery courage. And, as President Ronald Reagan reminded us so powerfully, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. It is not passed down in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on deliberately to those who come after us. That responsibility is here. It is now. It is urgent, and it is profoundly local. I stand before you not as a career politician, not as someone chasing the next rung of a ladder of power, but as a son of this soil, a champion of the people, a believer in the American dream, and a warrior for this republic and for Christ, who feels the weight of this moment. I pledge to you that we will fight together. We will not allow the petty quarrels and partisan games of Frankfurt and Washington to divide us. We will build a Northern Kentucky that stands tall as a beacon of strength, opportunity, and hope for the entire Commonwealth. Tonight, I present to you not empty slogans, not vague abstractions, but a clear blueprint for action. 7 priorities that will defend our communities, empower our families, and secure a future worthy of our children and grandchildren. First, we must defend our communities from the scourge of fentanyl and the trafficking that exploits our vital arteries, I-75 and I-71. I'd like you to take a moment and picture a young mother in this district tucking her child into bed, praying for safety in a world that feels increasingly on edge and uncertain. Now picture a family in Erlanger or Ludlow or Villa Hills, shattered by a phone call that no parent should ever receive. This crisis is not a distant one. It is in our neighborhoods. It is on our streets. It is in our schools. And it is in too many homes. Fentanyl and other illicit substances have stolen our sons and daughters from us. They have taken away our brothers and sisters. In short, it has hollowed out futures and left nothing but destruction and grief in its wake. We will treat this poison for what it is: a lethal weapon aimed at the hearts, minds, and souls of our communities. That means tougher enforcement at every level, real coordination with federal partners to seal our borders, and equipping our local law enforcement with the technology, the manpower, and the resources to shut down supply lines and hold traffickers accountable with no mercy. Let it be known that our highways should be corridors of commerce and connection. They shall not be conduits of death and despair. And we will do this not as Republicans or Democrats, not as liberals or conservatives, but as Kentuckians, united against a common enemy that preys on our most vulnerable. Second, we lower taxes and strengthen small businesses, the true heartbeat of Northern Kentucky. Walk down Main Street in Ludlow or visit a family-owned diner in Crescent Springs. Talk to the tradesmen in Burlington, the entrepreneurs in Fort Mitchell, and the shop owners who have poured their lives into building something for their families and for ours. These are not faceless corporations. These are our neighbors, people who know your name, sponsor your child's Little League team, who have sons and daughters who go to school with your sons and daughters. In short, they are an extension of our families, and they create a sense of community that we too often take for granted. These are the people. These are the businesses. These are the foundation of what it is to be an American. Needless to say, they are the ones who keep our communities alive and keep the spirit of the American man alive. Yet, they are suffocating under crushing taxes and regulations handed down by distant enterprises and entrenched institutions that neither understand nor care about our daily realities. As has been said before, government is too often not the solution, it is the obstacle. We will cut those taxes that stifle growth. We will slash red tape that strangles innovation. We will return hard-earned dollars to the pockets of those who earned them. A revitalized Main Street means more jobs, greater stability, stronger families, and local pride restored. This is my mission. And by the grace of God, together, we shall see it come to fruition. My vision is one of security and opportunity for each and every family within this district. This objective is not just economic policies, but power given back to the people. It is the renewal of the American dream right here at home. But in order to capture this vision, we must prepare our youth to sustain what we are going to achieve. Which brings me to my third reason: the restoration and sustained excellence in education. Our schools should be temples of learning where children discover truth, develop character, and prepare to lead free lives. The school is not a place for ideological battlegrounds where agendas take precedence over achievement and preparation. Too many of our children are being failed by systems designed to preserve themselves rather than develop minds. Systems that reward conformity, punish curiosity, and measure success by compliance instead of competence. We owe them better. No more excuses. No more delays. No more empty reforms. We will stand with teachers by giving them real support in the classrooms, real authority, and real respect. And we will expand school choice so no child is condemned to a failing school simply because of a zip code. We will demand real accountability, accountability that measures what actually matters: knowledge earned, skills mastered, and character formed, not blind compliance with the latest ideological fashion. Moreover, we will invest boldly in STEM and vocational training while restoring history, civics, and the moral foundations that make self government possible. Let it be known that this is not No Child Left Behind, but Every Child Lifted Up, taught to think clearly, work honestly, and live with virtue and responsibility. Fourth, we defend families, faith, and constitutional freedom, the moral and legal foundation of a free society. The nuclear family and the home are the first and most vital institution God ordained, and no government has the authority to weaken what it did not create. Faith is not a threat to be managed or a voice to be silenced. It is a liberty to be honored and defended. Moreover, the Constitution is not a suggestion or a slogan. It is the supreme law that restrains power and safeguards the rights of the people. I do not merely speak against the entrenched career politics that have corrupted Frankfurt and Washington alike. I've taken concrete action to challenge it and put that commitment in writing. On January 2nd, the year of our Lord 2026, I signed the U.S. Term Limits Pledge, committing that as your state representative, I will sponsor, co-sponsor, vote for, and defend a resolution calling for an Article 5 convention limited solely to enacting congressional term limits. This is about restoring accountability, breaking the grip of professional politicians, and returning power to where it truly belongs, to the people. We will defend self government and the God given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness against any force that seeks to silence them. And we will protect parental rights in education and healthcare because families, not entrenched institutions, are responsible for raising children. In this regard, shall it be said that we will stand unapologetically for free speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and the sanctity of human life from conception to natural death. These are not bargaining chips or political preferences. They are foundational rights. And liberty survives only when it is courageously and consistently defended. Fifth, we invest in infrastructure that actually moves northern Kentucky forward. Our roads, bridges, and waterways are not abstract projects. They are the arteries of commerce, safety, and daily life. When they fail, opportunity slows, families lose time, and communities lag behind. The Brent Spence Bridge, carrying the weight of commerce between North and South, stands as a daily reminder of neglect, overburdened, outdated, and long overdue for decisive action. Therefore, we will invest responsibly and intelligently, widening highways, repairing bridges, and expanding broadband to every corner, from rural county farms to our river bend cities, so that no community is cut off from opportunity in the modern economy. Strong infrastructure means jobs today and competitiveness tomorrow. It means safer commutes, faster emergency response, and a region prepared to grow rather than struggle to keep up. Sixth, we strengthen law enforcement and first responders, the men and women who stand between order and chaos, who run towards danger when others run away. Safety is not oppression. Order is not optional. Without both, no freedom endures. In an era where criticism is easy and support is rare, we will stand proudly and firmly with our police officers, our firefighters, and EMTs and nurses. We will equip them with modern training, reliable equipment, and the mental health support necessary to carry the weight of the responsibility we place upon them. We will support those who protect us, insist on professionalism and accountability, and ensure that those who serve our communities are never abandoned by them. A community, a society that abandons and turns its back on its protectors ultimately turns its back on itself. But let me now speak on my seventh and final focus point, which is near and dear to my heart. That being the expanded treatment, recovery, and mental health support for our fellow brothers and sisters within this district. Addiction and mental illness do not discriminate. They touch every neighborhood, every income level, every family, and too often they are endured alone, in silence, and in shame. We will build accessible treatment and recovery pathways across this district. Programs that do not merely manage addiction, but restore lives and rebuild families. In this effort, we will partner with faith-based organizations, medical professionals, and community leaders to form a true network of healing and strengthening. One that is rooted in accountability, unity, compassion, and hope. And we will confront these battles not with indifference or condemnation, but with the seriousness they deserve. As human struggles that require truth, mercy, and real solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, these 7 priorities are not isolated promises. They are one unified vision, rooted in responsibility and forged in unity, driven by action. We stand at a pivotal moment, not unlike the Patriots of 1776, when ordinary men and women cast off the chains of tyranny and picked up a torch that guided them through turbulent times, leading them to create a republic unmatched in history. In the face of danger, defeat, and bondage to the state, our ancestors chose courage over comfort and principle over expediency. Today, our declaration is one of renewal, freedom from fear and propaganda, independence and individual responsibility over dependency and collectivism, prosperity born of perseverance, and a future built on faith and family. I say to you now, let us go forth, united as one, united as Kentuckians, united as Americans. Democrats, Republicans, Independents, no longer held captive by tribalism and needless division. Rather, let us stand together as Kentuckians first, stewards under God, committed to restoring our Commonwealth and renewing the American dream. As your representative, I ask not what Kentucky can do for me, but what we will do together for Kentucky. We shall not forget, but always remember that you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. And together, by God's grace, we will meet it, and we will prevail. God bless you. God bless House District 63, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. That's the vision God has placed on my heart for House District 63. That's the fight I'm asking you to join. And as I finished preparing those words, I found myself sitting here, reading it over, quietly just processing, reflecting on why this matters so deeply to me. but it was something that was hard for me to put into words. But then I remembered I am a son of this land. I am a believer in the American man, and I am a believer in this Commonwealth. I am a man who kneels in prayer each night, thanking God, thanking Christ for the blessings of this life, and asking Him to protect my family, my neighbors, my friends, and everyone within this Commonwealth and in this district. I mean, there have been a lot. Every night it is like that. I mean, but I never really asked that question. I mean, I had, but I tried to look at it from a different angle. But then I realized that if not now, then when? Do I kick the can down the road and then try to have a sprint for a marathon race to try to help give our youth, our children, our grandchildren, those who are more vulnerable, the meek? Do I wait until I'm older and I'm secured? Then I can try to go back and help them, knowing that the goalpost that I'm trying to hit has already moved. So I'm already fighting a losing battle. So if not now, when? Because for me, I look at our youth and I see the same wonder in their eyes that I once had growing up here in this district in northern Kentucky and just being an American growing up. I see that 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 same look in their eyes of wonder, of greatness. I see that potential. Yet in all of that positivity and all of that beauty that I see, it is being clouded by all the challenges that they'll face if we fail to act now. That if I chose and if we choose comfort over courage, and that we would rather hide away and be silent rather than taking the mantle and being responsible for where we lead this community, then we are all to blame. And that is why I didn't get into this race, this campaign, this any of it for a title or a seat in Frankfurt. I didn't get into it for name recognition or ambition of my own selfish interests. I have to deny myself every day and pick up that cross, and God willing, will open up opportunities and doors for me. But I cannot put my own interest, my own selfish ambitions, all the temptations of the flesh ahead of who I serve. Moreover, it would be fake. Who I was, what I stand on, would be a house of cards. And I refuse to be the fool who builds his house on sand. And then when the rain comes, his house gets washed away. I seek to be the one who builds it on the rock with solid foundations, where it can withstand any storm that comes in its path without fear, because it prepared for rain. And it was that mindset that made me take my step forward. It was that mindset that I got into this because I believe that Northern Kentucky deserves better and that we can give better. Because I believe that our children deserve safer streets, stronger schools, and a future that is built on faith, family, and freedom, not permanent institutions or confusion or dependency or division for appeasement between both sides, all the while corrupting our moral compass along the way, using relativism to justify inaction over standing firm in what we know to be the best action. Which was why I signed my name to the term limits page, not because I thought that it was fashionable or something that would be, you know, that could be used well for my campaign. But if it was, then so be it. That wasn't the point. It was because that I'm tired of watching good people, people like my friends, my neighbors, my family, all of them, send representatives, in my case, to Frankfurt or to Washington, who, as soon as they get elected, forget who sent them and why they're there in the first place. It's always an election cycle for them. They always have to conveniently stay away from anything that would hurt themselves in the polls. And I thought to myself, this isn't right. This we can't keep letting people getting groomed for these positions who already have interests that are skewed from the very beginning. We can't let them determine what the average American man is going through. They don't know. They don't care. It doesn't affect them. What we need citizen legislatures. No more career politicians. We need servants, and not those who are just trying to lead, trying to gain power for power's end, trying to gain power for illicit means, illicit gains. And when I first announced my candidacy, I laid out 7. I laid out the top 7 ideas of things in this district that need to be worked on, need to be fixed, need to be prioritized. Knowing that in each of these 7, they umbrella and they branch off into everything else that will slowly fix the reluctancy by those in government to truly approach governance with this same sort of resolve. And the best ones are the citizen-led legislatures, those who are from the soil, who care about the soil, and are willing to fight and die for it because it is what they know. It is their home. It is their land. It is their kid. It is the future. Each one of those 7 were not talking points. They were 7 things that I have observed. But most importantly, all those 7 things, those aren't just me spewing anything out just to see what hits and what doesn't. Those are commitments. Commitments that I intend to keep and fight like hell to achieve. Because this isn't about me. This isn't about just one man. This isn't about just one race. This is about, the mother in Villa Hills who works 2 jobs just to keep food on the table for her 2 kids. Or the small businesses and that small business owner in Fort Mitchell or wherever he is throughout this district. Staring at the numbers late at night, wondering if he can actually make this work, make payroll, if he needs to take out another loan, if he's even able to keep the shop open. Or the veteran who's fighting silent battles no one else sees, and the systems that are set up do not help him in any productive manner. Or the child in Erlanger who doesn't need more excuses, who just needs a fair shot at a great education. If something in this vision, if something in these priorities that I laid out to you bear stirred your heart in any way, and if you're ready to say enough is enough and it's time to build something better, something solid, something that we can look back on and we can be proud that we took the stand when we did, then I need you with me. Reach out, volunteer, share this message, pray for this campaign, because I believe that together, by the grace of God, we can renew Northern Kentucky and thus set forth the Commonwealth into a new era where we can protect what's precious, we can restore what's been lost, and we can hand our children a Commonwealth stronger, safer, and more free than the one that we inherited. Put it simply, that's my commitment to you. All I'm asking is for yours. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And thank you in advance for standing with me. God bless you, and let's get to work.